I'm Jeremy Koop, former prosecutor, Kansan, and your dedicated defense attorney at the Koop Law Firm. Today we're going to talk about your right to a preliminary hearing if you're charged with a felony offense and how proceeding to a preliminary hearing can benefit you. If you're charged with a felony in state court, you usually have the right to a preliminary hearing. The point of the preliminary hearing is to evaluate or assess whether or not there's enough evidence against you in the case to move forward towards jury trial. Now, the only real people that are involved in the case at this point at the preliminary hearing are you as the defendant, the defense attorney, and the prosecutor, and the judge who's deciding whether or not there's probable cause or enough evidence to move forward with the case at that point in time. The prosecution will call a few witnesses to the stand, and the defense attorney has an opportunity to cross-examine them. It's often advantageous to proceed forward with a preliminary hearing as the defendant in the case. And the reasons for that is so that we can see what the prosecution's case looks like. In other words, what are the government witnesses going to say? And another thing to think about is that during cross-examination of the government's witnesses, it gives us the opportunity to trip up or call into question the government witness's testimony against you. Now, the standard of proof at a preliminary hearing is probable cause. Now, that's a much lower standard of proof than the standard of proof at a jury trial, which is beyond a reasonable doubt. So the practical effect of that is that if the witnesses for the prosecution show up at the preliminary hearing, in all likelihood, the judge is going to find that there's probable cause that the crime occurred and is going to allow the prosecution to proceed. Now, despite that, like I said, the advantage to proceeding with a preliminary hearing is that we get a preview of what the prosecution's case is and an opportunity to trip up their witnesses on the record. If you're facing a felony crime in state court, you need an aggressive criminal defense attorney to fight for your rights at the preliminary hearing. Contact the Koop Law Firm today, your dedicated criminal defense attorney.